Alright, with any luck here, we are underway. Been trying to get this going here. And it's not looking particularly good right now. Let's see here. Just waiting for my iPad to come up, so it looks like it's working. Alright, so hopefully we are live. Hopefully you can see what's going on. Hopefully it doesn't look too bad. We're here in New Zealand this evening. And well, doesn't exactly look like evening, does it? We're here in New Zealand, and I'm going to be flying up to from Christchurch up to Auckland, and I'm doing this as a flight for American Virtual Airlines, and I don't quite understand, and perhaps somebody can tell me at some point, why American Airlines flies an A320 from Christchurch, New Zealand to Auckland. Now, what's interesting is, you might think to yourself, well, they don't. And this is just like a goofy thing here, but they do. So American Airlines, I looked, and they actually fly this flight. So so kind of interesting. Come over here to mass and balance. Let's get the old aeroplane loaded here. Gonna do that instant. And yeah, so this should be a fun flight. This should be an interesting flight. I've never flown in New Zealand, to my knowledge. Send that to the MCDU. Let's get our charts fired up here. I'm gonna start doing all this fun stuff while nobody's watching. I mean, maybe nobody's watching for the rest of the video too, but let's see. Alright, and we are not flying any of those approaches. We are flying, let's see, we are flying the RNP Yankee 23 left, so I don't need, well, I'll keep the ILS chart up just in case, but we're gonna load the RNP Yankee 05 left, 05 left, 23 left. It's kind of a cool approach, actually. It's kind of a interesting little approach. You see here RNP, so it's required navigation performance, for those of you who don't know that. And that's a it's a like kind of an advanced GPS, really. So cool. I'll be pretty happy if this is just a very quiet, laid-back stream tonight. Doesn't look very Doesn't look very good on my little iPad mini, but then again, not much does. So let's go over into the MCDU. Get all this stuff going here. Let's go init request. So I've got my T. I'm all alone at home tonight, which is why I'm doing this. Which on the one hand is kind of cool, but on the other hand is kind of lame, because whenever my wife is out of town, I'm always like, yay, I get to have fun. And then by, I don't know, 7 o'clock at night, I'm like, this is boring. So cost index is 60, and this airplane is my nemesis, but we'll see. This is the, well, no, this is the A320, I'm sorry. Let's see, weather, top client temp is negative 61. So what is it, 37,000? So I have to get a flight in every 30 days for American Virtual. And I don't always get the chance to do that, and so it's kind of nice. Let's see, 18.3, 13.4, and 6.2. So yeah, it's roughly not right. I mean, it's close enough. We're not going to run out of fuel between. It's an hour and 20 minutes in the air, so we're not going to run out of fuel between here and there. All right, let's see here. Okay, cool. So flight plan, we're gonna go runway 20. Let's see, Ped Mike to Quebec, Glen, it looks like, transition. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to copy the active flight plan, because that gets me the flight plan without the approach. Let me just make sure I got that copied. Alright. So, once again, departure 20, Pedem to Quebec, Glen. We'll go there, and we come down here. We have the 23 left. Let's see, 23 left. What did I say? RNAV. Oops. RNAV 23 left. Yank. Davy 27 Charlie. Dave 7 Charlie. Okay, there we go. There's that. Via's no Via. Alright, now now what we need to do is make sure that we have everything in order. Uh-oh. I have to sign into my Navigraph Charts app. Hey, what's going on? Good to see you too, man. What's going on? How you doing? I am pretty excited about flying in New Zealand this evening. Ah, look, Rogers VFR charts. Cool. Alright, so here we go. This is pretty wild. That is a strong crosswind. Are we sure? Let's see here. Let's see here. Open airport. Let's look at the runways. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's runway 29. What is runway 29? Everything's doing good. Everything's doing good. It's been, yeah, we're not taking off 29. It's a short runway. Everything is pretty good. I've been really busy, and so I'm really glad to be able to kind of hang out tonight and chill out and do my flight here. How you been? So let's see here. No, I don't want to hide that. That's not what I meant to do. So let's take a look once again at our chart here. How am I going to do this? So, RNAV departure. We're doing the, let's see, the 5:30 MEBMU. MEBMU at 2000 or above, so over 4,500. And then we're going around the clock here to Anulu, and then we've got Rudor, Pedme, Glen. And let's see here. We are on the Yankee 175, Gulev, top of climb. Eguta, Akavi, Amkin, Leebox, Pokemon. No, that's not Pokemon. Pokemon, Davy, Osaku. So I was trying to find a cool flight that was like different tonight. I was gonna do. I have to get this flight in. So I was gonna do LAX to. Yeah, it is Christmas. It is Christmas, and it's crazy. I haven't even gotten to the Christmas crazy part of life yet. I've been so busy. But then I thought to myself, doing LAX to San Francisco is kind of boring. And I wanted to do something where it's daylight. I'm live on VATSIM. And so I was trying to find something interesting, and this is what I found. And I still don't understand LBOP. I still don't understand why American Airlines flies an A320 in New Zealand, but they do. I looked this up on FlightAware. So NOCAM Lurlu AA743, AA409, runway 23 left. All right, cool. So everything is correct. Everything is correct now. Now let's see here. All right, so now let's do our performance. Yeah, I haven't gotten to the crazy part of everything's been too crazy to begin with to even bother with altimeter 2968. Is that really true? That is really low. 2968. Weather. QNH 1005, which is 2968. That's bizarre. Okay, that's pretty low. Alright, so now let's do our calculations. That's good. V2 is 146. Transition altitude is 13,000. That's important to know. Let's go. Okay, it's flaps 1 up 0.1, flex temp 68. Alright, cool. That's all good. You're an electronics technician working in a warehouse and we do commerce. Yeah, that's got to be a busy time of year. Anybody who's involved in anything commerce-wise this time of year, it's got to be pretty wild. So 1 up away at flex temp 68. Those are all good. I'm waiting. I cannot wait for the 737 to come out because this is just not my airplane. I mean, it works for me, but it's just not my airplane. I'm not a Phoenix. I'm not an Airbus guy. I shouldn't say I'm not a Phoenix guy. That's the wrong thing to say. I'm not an Airbus guy. So let's see. Prague is good. Perf stuff is all set. That's all set. Flight plan's all set. Alright, so I think we're pretty good. Let's turn these lights all down. Alright, so let's see. What's the top altitude on the departure? Normally I'm in a hurry to get these flights done. Bit unrealistic with the air terms. Lewis, so here's the story. This is an actual flight. I don't get it either. I have no idea why American Airlines flies this flight, but I looked this up on FlightAware, and I have no idea why American Airlines flies an A320 from Christchurch to Auckland, but they do. I swear to you. As a matter of fact, I will put it. I'm gonna put it in the chat because I couldn't believe it myself. This is AA 9037. Watch this. Let me see here. FlightAware. I'm going to show you this. I seriously, and as a matter of fact, this flight actually just landed recent, like very, no, what? Come on. Hold on here. Yeah, look at this. This flight landed an hour and 33 minutes ago. Check this out. So this is an actual flight. I don't get it either. I literally, Lewis, I do not understand. But it's what it says. Yeah, the A320neo is apparently not coming out for a while. Which I'm so far from an Airbus dork, so I mean I don't even know what the difference is between the. I mean it's a new engine, obviously, you know, but like I don't know what the performance difference is. I don't really get into engines and all that sort of stuff. Like a lot of the with the Boeing 777, people really get. Let's see, transition altitude is 13,000. Is there a top altitude on this departure? People get really excited about the. Let's see, I'll probably use 5,000 because that's cross route tour at or above 5,000. So that's what I use. People get really excited about the different engine options, like even on the 777, and I just don't care. I can't get too excited about engines, but I know a lot of people do. So let us see here. We'll put 5,000 for that. QNH is, what did I say, 1006, I think it was. How does that come out to 2968? 1005. Whoops. 1005. So doing the same thing United does from Guam to 737. Neos are more yeah, for sure they're more efficient. Have more range. Yeah, gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense. And I mean I'm sort of like even with the 737, I prefer the 800 over the 900 or the Max. I just like them. All right, so let's sketch out our taxi route here. We are going off of runway 20, so we'll go what? Alpha all the way down. Alpha all the way down, Alpha 2. And we are L9037, right? (9037). So there's that. What else do we have to do? First of all, let's go up here to turn on the APU master. Go seatbelt signs on. So, turn on our fuel pumps here. And at 122.8. Alright, so let's see here. Let's pick us a squawk code. What's a good squawk code? Let's go 1216. That's my birthday. So, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Let's see. Code share. Okay, well now I get it. Now I get it. Alright. So now that makes sense. I couldn't figure out because it shows on FlightAware and it's available for American Virtual, and so I just couldn't quite figure out what the story was. So now I understand. So let's go here, we'll go here, we'll go here, we'll go there, we'll go there. Alright, so now I understand. So my sincere apologies for my lack of knowledge of the operation here, but alright, so alright. Let's go push. Let's make sure the parking brake is off. And did I just screw this up? I just did screw this up. I screwed this up. Let's get our GPU back. So, I didn't wait. I don't fly this airplane often enough to do this with any level of competence. Tell me I just... Yeah. So, let's see here. Hopefully. Please tell me. Nope. Alright, so here we go. Let's do this real quick. Oi. I knew I was going to do something goofy. Yeah, departing indeed. Alright, so we'll do this real quick. AAL 90. This is going to be the first flight in history with 2 pushbacks. Cost index is 60. 37,000 at, let's see, negative 60. Good thing is I remember all this stuff. So, flight plan. We're going runway 20. M2Q Glen. Then this all looks good. Make sure there's no discontinuities right there. Then we go. Let's see, RNAV. 23 left Yankee. That's what we're looking for right there. And we are also looking for the Dave 7 Charlie. Dave 7 Charlie, no transition. So now let's check it again, make sure everything's good. Alright, so that's good. SU4 Beta is really stable. Yeah, I mean it is, but it's kind of the theory of just break it and Josh, yes, I can see your chats. You know, it's like the break it theory. They just don't really worry too much about oh, we gotta do this again. Okay, they don't really worry too much about perfection. It's more about progress, you know. Sync live weather, calculate that, that's all the same. Send to MCDU. Let's see, APU is available. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Now that's all good. Up on 1.6. Perf is good. Alright, takeoff runway 20. Please let's not goof this again. Alright, we'll go 5,000, QH1005. Alright, so APU bleed on. Now I do believe. Gotcha. Cool. All right, now, thank you, sir. Yeah, I would love to see world updates Africa. Would absolutely love to see it. Totally agree. Totally agree on that one. Alright. Did I release the parking brake? Yes, I did. Start the push. Now. We got it right. Sweet. Okay. Takes me a while to get my Airbus brain working. The Boeing part of my brain works just fine. It's the Airbus part that's not real good. Go tail that way. So this engine seems like it's spooling up rather slowly, does it not? Alright, set the parking brake. Alright. Turn the taxi light on. Taxi light is on. What else do we need to do with our lives? I think that's about that. So, next thing we do is drink some tea. But Sam, yeah, I totally agree. I would love to see updates to Africa. Africa is an amazing place to fly. Africa is an amazing place to be. I was fortunate enough when I was a young punk to get to go to Africa, and it was absolutely amazing. Alright, so this comes back here. Flaps 1. We'll worry about all that stuff later. Alright, so APU bleed coming off. Master switch coming off. Everything's clear. No lights, which is good. Let's come down over here. We'll get our charts. And we shall go. So next time, I think I made a fool of myself the last time I flew in Australia one time. And I got the call sign wrong for Qantas, and that was kind of embarrassing. Alright, so let's see, we are on 122.8. Let's go prog page here, let's go flight plan page here. Alright, let's see, Christchurch traffic American 9037, just pushed back. And we're going to be taxiing to runway 20 via Alpha 2, holding short 20, Christchurch. So, the snowy Midwest, yeah, back, you know what, it's, this is an early winter start, man. I'm in New York, and it is cold in New York. It is cold. Let's see, what do we want to do here? Up 0.1. Very simple. Alright, let's get going. Certainly taken us a while to get to this point. Yeah, it was not to get too public with my information, but we had some plumbing issues in my house this week, and we had no water or flushing toilets for 3 days. And one of those days it was -12 out. And let me tell you, that was a real pleasure. So auto brakes max. Signs are on. I mean, spoilers are armed. Let's see. Takeoff config. We are good. Predictive wind shear is off. We'll fix that here. Let's see. I can never remember where that is. Okay. Transponder. We'll go to auto. We'll go to on. Nope. Come on. Okay. We seem to be taxiing rather fast too. Yeah, but so Zayden, everything worked out, and it's funny how the little things in life make you very. It was funny because like we had all this crazy nonsense going on, and at the same time I was just very appreciative for everything that we do have, you know. It's very easy to get down on things that are going south, but been to Cape Town. I would love to go to Cape. Oh my, yeah, 16-hour long haul. That's a flight right there. So once again, the ugly American has brought an American Airlines livery to New Zealand. So sorry about that. I didn't realize it was a code share. I should have. I should have realized it was a code share, but I didn't. All right. Airbus brain, let's get working here. I actually was flying from Miami to Charlotte one time in an A319, and they were literally, it was a weird situation. I'll tell you the story on the flight, but there were literally like 5 of us on the flight, and it was an A319, and I was talking to the flight crew as they were getting the airplane ready. And I remember the captain telling me there are like 3 buttons to press before takeoff. He said it's the simplest airplane in the world to fly. So let's get ready here for the RNAV departure. And alright, let's take a look at this here. Alright, come out left turn heading 211, right turn heading 211, cross Membi at or above 2000. Alright, right turn direct Anulu, which is a little bit of a around the horn there. And then we come up here, Glenn. Alright, so should be good. Yeah, I mean there is that, Josh, for sure. You know, one of my there are some sayings that I've heard in aviation that I just never forget, right? And one of them that I heard recently that I thought was an absolutely fabulous saying was that twin engine airplanes fly just like singles until they become singles. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So twins fly like single engines until they become single engines, and then it's not good. Look at that windsock. So I'm assuming that it's probably going to be pretty windy in Auckland, and therefore I will have ample opportunity to embarrass myself. Alright, so coming up, we're going to hold short here. And it's funny, somebody that I have a long time friendship with, so to speak, on Volanta just flew in here, and I had no idea he was doing that. Alright, so let's go up top here. We'll go strobe on, landing lights on, turn off lights and stay where they are. This can come on. Everything's looking good. So we'll come down here. Yeah, it's gotta be pretty warm in New Zealand right now, I would think. Look at that windsock, that's wild. Alright, Christchurch traffic, American 9037 departing 20, will be on a right crosswind departure, Christchurch. Alright, so there's nobody coming. So, let's get matriculating here. So, I don't think we're gonna need max toga because it's pretty long runway, but we'll see. It was funny, the first officer on that flight, the A319 flight, he was a pretty senior guy, but he said being a first officer on the 319 just was like the easiest lifestyle in the world for him, so that's what he was going to do until retirement, which I kind of think is weird, but I don't know. I would probably look for some interesting flying, but he clearly was looking for simple stuff. So let's see here. Heading indicator checks with the runway number, and we'll go throttle is 50%. EGTs are stabilized. Toga power is set. SRS runway green, auto throttle blue, and yeah, I think I'm getting some 100 knots. Gotta hold some serious rudder to keep the plane on center line in this crosswind. Whoopsie daisy. A bit of a rodeo there. Not too good. Positive rate gears coming up. And let's see here. Come right to heading at 211. Throttle is lever climb. Let's see here. Alright. So we're going to set that. Flaps are set. Gear is up. Speed brakes disarmed. Alright, this is going to climb pretty quick, so let's go. Let's go 15,000. I want to see what New Zealand looks like. There is Christchurch. Beautiful. Yeah, this NZ Von Rock. This looks like a fun flight. I've never flown in New Zealand before that I can recall. And yet, 2 engines just means you crash faster. Well, they usually say the second engine brings you all the way to the scene of the crash, which is true except if you are conscientious about planning your flights and planning your departures. You can certainly fly quite safe. Quite safe single engine departures if you have to. Alright. I like the rattling all this that's going on. 29.3 Celsius with gusting. Yeah, it was pretty stiff wind. It was a pretty stiff wind. Josh, you know, I've never tried smooth motion. I don't really plan on it, but frame, you know, I have, I'm not running frame gen right now, and it's interesting because I mean, frame gen's wonderful, right? But I never realized what the drawbacks are. All right, 9,500 climbing 15,000. Let's go all the way up to 37. So the snow-capped Southern Alps to the left. It's just beautiful. So my neighbor, actually, it's kind of a funny story. I'm in a relatively small town in New York. Well, I shouldn't say relatively. I'm in a small town in New York. Yeah, look at that. And she just moved back to New York a couple of years ago after living in New Zealand for, I don't know, 25 years. Pretty cool. She ran a New York pizza place in Auckland. Look at that. This is one of the things that I love about the sim, is being able to go to places that I will likely not see in my lifetime and be able to check them out, you know? This is a relatively decent rendition. So coming up on flight level 130, which will be transition altitude. And yes, I am, sir. Yes, I am. I always make sure. Well, sometimes I forget to do it when there's like a beta update or something. But that's one of my. Here's 130. No, I can never get this stupid button. There we go. Yeah, I always make sure I update, or at least I intend to make sure I update the DLSS when there's like a sim update or something. So this is not a real long flight. Sorry, I'm rubbing my eyes, and the Tobii eye tracker's going nuts here. But I love the clouds too in Sim Update 4. Looks so much more realistic to me. With those kind of wispy tops, you know? Gosh, this is beautiful. And anybody who says that that the sim is like oversaturated, like it's too bright, go out on a day like today and with no sunglasses and look up at the sky and tell me it's tell me it's not bright. There's actually in I think it's in FS Realistic you can add sunglasses. Or no, that's in VR. In VR you can add sunglasses through one of the what's it called? Let me see here. OpenXR Toolkit in VR has sunglasses, which I think is pretty cool because I can't fly without sunglasses in real life. I can't even drive. Click on airport. I can't even drive without oh yeah, I can't even drive without sunglasses. I have really sensitive eyes. This is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's just fun flying in different places in the world, you know, and like that's why. And so, if you weren't here earlier, so I had to yeah, filters. I had to get a flight in for American Virtual, and so I wanted to do. I have like a free night tonight, so I wanted to do something interesting, and I was gonna do LAX to San Francisco, which is, I guess is a kind of a cool flight. But I wanted to go somewhere and like see something, you know, and so I came to New Zealand with an American Airlines airplane. I really wish now that I had the Air New Zealand livery, because that would have been so cool. It would have looked so. It's a really cool livery. So I wish I had done that, but I didn't. So let me see here. One thing I want to do is make sure I stay ahead of the airplane because I'm unfamiliar with where we are, and I don't want to do anything goofy. So let's take a quick look at where we're going this evening. Where is my aeroplane? There is my aeroplane. And let me see here. Navigraph charts, they got some really cool stuff. Let's see. So we got some traffic on VATSIM. And there was... Oh, that's cool. There was ATC up in Auckland earlier, but there doesn't seem to be now. That's our flight. So what's everybody else doing on a Saturday night besides watching me bumble along in sheer incompetence? I don't really like Airbuses. You know what airplanes I think are really underrated? The Embraers. I've flown a couple times on the Embraer 175 and 195 from Miami down into the Caribbean, and they are so comfortable for such small airplanes. Like, they're really, really comfortable airplanes to fly in. And I was talking to... We were flying to Anguilla. I don't know if it was this year. No, it was last year, I think it was. And I was talking to the flight crew. I have a habit of talking to the flight crew on flights. And the flight crew on it was an E175 that flew down to Anguilla. And the captain on that flight looked like he barely shaved. And but he was telling me how cool the kind of like the vertical profile page on the MFD in the E175 and the Embraers is really kind of neat. And he was about to step up to first officer in the 737, and he said he was really going to miss the he was really gonna miss the Embraer. He liked it a lot. So, come on, baby. They put everything way too small. A lot of these buttons are way too small in this, what happens when you get old? Complain about weird things. There we are, right there. Some of the buttons on these things are too small, in my opinion. It's pretty mountainous. I mean, New Zealand is quite a mountainous country. Let's see, 370. I mean, this is the thing about Airbus, right? There's just not a whole lot to do, which I suppose is the whole point, right? I mean, if you've got a lot to do, that's not good. Always turn the aft cabin down more because it's, or no, rather the other way around. Turn the forward cabin down more because it's higher than the aft cabin. What have I done? I'm a blithering fool. There is some incompetence. Some further signs of incompetence. Okay. Let's see here. Starting to bring the temps down. Let's see. ISA +2. Fuel is balanced. Cabin is pressurizing. Suppose I can turn the seatbelt signs off. And yeah, that's about that. Embraer E2 really comfy. Flew in one from Amsterdam to Krakow. Krakow is a freaking beautiful city. What a beautiful city Krakow. I was there 20 years ago, 25 years ago, let's be honest. But I assume it's probably still beautiful. It was an amazing place. I loved Krakow. Most fun flight in New Zealand is Auckland to NZCH. The landing in the Queenstown is spectacular. Well below the... Oh, okay. You know what? I think I've... Now that I think about it, I think I've done... Perhaps not that flight, but I'm pretty sure I've done a flight into Queenstown because I remember that approach. And it was really, really cool. It was really, really cool. What am I doing? Get in there. And there's somebody flushing the toilet 5 feet from my head. Alright. So, I don't think we're going to be in cruise for all that long. Top of climb. 228. And let's see when top of descent is. Top of descent is 259. So what, about 30? No. 25 minutes in cruise. So I love flying for Virtual Airlines, and I really like Virtual American because they do all the Caribbean routes that I really like. The other one I really like doing, the only other one I'm involved in is Deutsche Lufthansa, which is a phenomenal virtual airline. They do a lot of training stuff, like pilot training stuff, which is really neat. They're kind of like little online info sessions where you can like learn how to do transatlantic routes and stuff like that, which I thought was pretty cool. But I do wish there were, and I suppose I don't really need to come up with an excuse to do things like this, but I really wish I had kind of more incentive to do, like, to check out different parts of the world. I have seen a fair bit of the world in real life, but not any part of this. You know, I still can't wrap my head around like a 16-hour flight, you know. I mean, in business class, sign me up, you know. But I think economy on a 16-hour flight would be pretty brutal. had a buddy of mine who is a world-renowned sprinter and also an avid flight sim enthusiast and an all-around good human being. And he was competing in the Athletics World Championships in Tokyo last year. And he flew from, I believe it was London direct Tokyo. It was like, I don't remember what he told me, like 17 hours or something like that. He was definitely not in coach, but man, that's got, you gotta go a little stir crazy. Sit in an airplane for that long, you know? NZ Van Rock, where are you from? Are you in Christchurch, or where are you? Look at this. This is what they call rugged terrain. Wonder if... Doesn't seem like there's a lot of roads. Well, maybe... No, I mean, those are rivers. I was going to say, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of roads down here. There we go. There's some roads. Man, it is rugged. It is rugged. What are we going past here? Wellington will be off to our right side. That's the A400. That's kind of an interesting airplane. Not that interesting, but it's kind of interesting. Let's see, there's Auckland. There's Queenstown. Yeah, that's a really cool... That's a cool approach. You're in Auckland, okay. Is New Zealand... So one of the things that was interesting to me about the Caribbean is that you wouldn't necessarily think of it as a place where there's a lot of flying, right? Because it's... You think, you know, in... you know, islands, they would use a lot of boats, but they don't. They fly everywhere in the Caribbean. And is it the same way in New Zealand? Is there a lot of, like, to get from one part of the country to the other, a lot of flying? Because I would imagine, like, driving through terrain like this would probably take you a while. Doesn't seem like a lot of highway options, you know? Gosh, it's beautiful though. Boy, I can't wait for the 737 to come out. Longest flight was from DFW to HQJ, 17 hours. DFW to Hong Kong. There's a guy on Instagram who's a 787 captain. It's something like, hold on, let me see if I can find him. He's flown into Hong Kong for like, I don't know, 30 years probably longer than that actually. He's talking about flying into Hong Kong in the 747s way back in the day. Let's see, what was his... Yeah, this dude. Really, if you're interested in long haul aviation, he's a great dude to watch. He's this older guy. He's, you know, really nearing retirement, I would suspect. And he's hilarious because he refers to himself as like an old Chinese. He says, I'm the old Chinese guy. And he's always like showing you what he eats when he's on the road, and it's always like this really modest food. Meanwhile, he probably makes $350,000 a year, but he's just a fun guy to watch, fun guy to listen to. Classic Jet Sim pilot. What's going on, man? How are you? I was watching. That was such a cool flight you did into Aspen. That was a hoot. And now we're doing the non-classic jet. As a matter of fact, I almost thought about doing a flight. I was trying to find a flight today to do, and I almost did Denver to LAX, but high altitude ops are different, you know. People don't realize that how much different it is. Yeah, it must be so. I wonder how many people. I wonder what percentage of pilots in the world have 4 engine time in their logbook. I would venture to guess not many. You know, and the options are dwindling ever so. You know. Look at that. That is Nelson. That is Nelson. And then over here somewhere is Wellington. Let's see here. That should be Wellington right there. No, Wellington. I'm sorry, Wellington is over here, other coast. Yeah. Yes. Gosh, it's beautiful along here. Beautiful. Used to jump seat in the... Oh, yeah. There are only 3 alpine crossing over the Southern Alps and going around the rest of the... Okay. Yes, that's got to be, that's got to be... What a fascinating place. So it always amazes me how small we are, you know? Because we are very small. You know, if you think of how massive the world is. So... what shall we do? What shall we do? Trying to think of ways to limit my possibility for screwing up. Let's see here. Let's take a look at the weather. How's that for an idea? Alright. Auckland. Come on. Let's take a look at the chart here real quick. Let's see here. RNAV approach, final approach course 231. No cam, mandatory 2000. Decision altitude 310. Airport elevation 23. Missed approach. Max 185. Dvorak. Track 231. Dvorak. Turn right 261 to Ignis. Mandatory 3000. Inspect radar vectors. RMP approach, runway elevation, yeah. Transition level 15,000. I hate it when they do this. Classic Jet Sim Pilot, I think I've asked you this before, but I forgot. Why on earth would there be a different transition level and transition altitude? Because that to me means, wouldn't there be between 15,000 and 13,000, couldn't you have aircraft at different... I mean, you would have aircraft at different altimeter settings, would you not? I just don't understand the wisdom of doing that. I mean, clearly there is one. RNP 0.3 between SNAX and NOCAM. RNP 1 for missed approach. Operator, RF required. Use Auckland altimeter setting only. Create separation. Okay. Oh, that actually... You are the first person who's answered that question in a way that makes sense. Now I get it. Now I've had people explain it to me probably 20 times and I never understood. Now I get it. Thank you. Ha! That's fascinating. Yeah, it does create separation. How about that? You know, it's so funny how you can not understand something and then the simplest explanation, you're like, yep, that makes sense. Alright, 3,353 with the arc here, and kind of like, see, I didn't know about that. Unusable flight levels. Interesting. Alright, so we got PAPI, high intensity runway end identifier lights as well. Alright, cool. So there's that. Now let's go here. What is our weather? Please tell me it's not gusty. 230 at 10. Okay. 07 at 20. So we'll get a new altimeter before we go. Unusable flight levels at low pressure. I gotta look that up. That's interesting. It's so funny how much I don't know about aviation. Aviation is one of those things you could spend your entire life studying, and you're never gonna learn everything. Then again, obviously I have zero experience with any sort of turbine aircraft, so I suppose you could probably expect me to not know what I'm doing. And the pressure is 2991 to 2892. Lowest usable flight level is 190. Ah, and that makes sense too. Yeah, that makes complete sense. Bit of trivia: Mount Taranaki was a stand-in for Mount Fuji in the film The Last Time. No way. That's because New Zealand has a huge film industry, don't you? That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, let me see if I can. I don't know if we're gonna see it. That is really good. Is that it? Perhaps up there. That's really funny. So I'm gonna start doing my arrival performance. By the METAR. Yeah, it will be good. Alright. Landing weight is gonna be. Yeah, that's no. The landing weight is not gonna be 666. What I'm trying to do. No. Alright. That's what I'm trying to do. Alright, what do we got here? 133.6. Company message. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Comms menu. No. Let's see this mountain. Receive messages. Yeah, ops. Alright. I hope there's no ATC in Auckland, because then I'm gonna have to embarrass myself by calling American is my call sign. Alright, let's see here. 133.6. How much fuel do we have? No. I suppose there's probably a way to do this. Estimated fuel on board 7.2. Alright. Destination fuel on board. Let me see. Where's current fuel? Where do I find? Oh, fuel on board 8.8. Oh, okay. So 1.6. So 131.8. 131.8. So this is math is hard. 131.8. Alright, so you do no. Ay. Let me try this again. 131.8. Okay, there we go. So, meters. I don't know meters. What are you talking about? Alright. So, EWS top screen. Thank you, sir. So, alright, well, then we shall wait. I'll look at the airport diagram here. We're coming in 2-3 left. So hopefully maybe Alpha 6 and Juliet would be nice. Let's see, this should be pretty simple. Davy 7 Charlie, answer 5,000 or above. LBOP. Okay. Alright. So that's got to be the mountain you're talking about, no? Oh, yeah, it's got to be it. That's really cool. So let me see here. Why? Yeah, duh. Staring me right in the face. Oh gosh. So funny, I was really tired earlier, and now I'm flying, I'm wide awake. So yeah, that's gonna be really cool. I think I also have the fuel page on the SD bottom screen. Yeah. See, I don't like now I see what you meant. So I don't like messing with these buttons right here during Airbus flights, because I really like this screen. And as far as I know, there's no way to get it back once you change it, even though I know that is a completely bizarre logic for not doing it. I just really like this screen. It does come back? Somebody said it didn't come back. How do we get it back? Alright, let's do that. No way. You gotta be... Oh, the level of incompetence is just unbelievable. Because what I usually do is I'll usually go through them like this. I have some really strange logic in terms of what I do. That's great. Classic Jet, you're the best, man. Sharing the knowledge. Tell you one thing. That's really cool. Knowing your avionics is important. And I don't know. I have no feel for the Airbus at all. Spent 2 weeks in A320 school, lots of useless knowledge. Yeah, exactly. I am a fountain of useless knowledge. Some of it's aviation knowledge. A lot of it is useless general knowledge. It's probably true that like the further you get along in flight training, the more useless knowledge you have. That's probably a fair argument. That is really cool. I'm gonna get a... Let me see here. I'll get myself a nice screenshot of pretend Mount Fuji. That is so cool. That is nice. So, enter destination data. Sure. You want me to do that? Alright. I'll do that. What do we got here? QNH 1005. Winds of 320. 30 at 25. 300 at 25. That just picked up. No, duh. You're such a boob. Alright, QNH 1017. That's quite a pressure change on that short of a distance. 230 at 10. 2515. So we should have pretty decent weather. Alright. So let's go here. Let's go here. Alright, QNH 1, yeah, no, 1017. Temperature 25. Winds are 230 at, what was it, 10? There we go. Cool. You know, it's funny. I suppose nothing is really that logical in, look at that. Nothing's really that logical in Boeing either. I just know it better, right? Yes, Shadows of Motion. I've seen a lot of people talking about that. I haven't, or actually new airplanes. No, I haven't seen the new airplanes. I've seen the new updates to some of the existing planes. But I can't say as I've seen new airplanes, actual airplanes. That is such a cool shot. Look at that. That is going on my Volanta page right there. But I don't have my screenshots set up. Oh well. Sorry. What a cool view. Testing the boats out in the sea, that's really cool. I've thought about doing that too, but I haven't. One of the planes I've always thought about trying out in the sim is the, what's the little float plane that Roy Halladay killed himself in? Less logical than Boeing. Yeah, you know, it's so funny that you say that. So, I mean, I guess it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. It's just what you... just kind of what you're familiar with. But, like, for me, getting into Boeing, I'm like, okay, now all this makes sense. Whereas, in an Airbus, I'm just constantly confused. Let's see. Do you have clues as to when the PM? No, I don't. I think it's gonna be after Sim Update 4 comes out, so it should be this week. It should be this week, but I don't have any info on that. It's funny how my prediction on when Sim Update 4 would be released, I didn't realize that would become such a controversy, but it was. So, but the I cannot wait. The 777, the PMDG 777 in Flight Sim 24 is so good. I mean, it's just like the perfect combination of fly-by-wire and the sim handling it very well, and the airplane being designed so beautifully. It is just such an amazing airplane. And I'm really hoping that I really can't wait to see this in the Paris, the UAE. You know what? I thought about doing something to the Middle East as well, but I didn't. What are you on VATSIM? I will see if I can find you. LFPG is Paris, no? Where is, what's your flight number? Let's see. Live traffic. Departures. Just south of Athens. Oh, whoops. I gotta go. Nope. I'm probably gonna miss my top of the set. Just south of Athens. Where is that? Where are you? Oh, we made just south. I'm probably gonna miss my top of the set. No, I'm good. Well, let's see here. I don't see you. I don't see. Oh, you're going. No. No, I see a 777 going the other way. I don't see anybody just south of Athens. FedEx 5124. Okay. Gotcha. On Volanta, it's a little screwy, but I see right where you are. That is such a beautiful place to fly. I love flying over that, like the southern Europe there in the Mediterranean, just gorgeous. We're coming up on 20 miles from top of descent. So you got to be that's gonna be, you can be flying for a while then. That is pretty sweet. Let's see here. Alright. I love long haul. I just don't have the time to do like real, like legit long haul flights. I just don't have time. I wish I did. Fun stuff. I'm so glad I learned this. Now I can use my pages and check all my data. Check my info. Ay. I am very glad that I came to New Zealand today. What a cool flight. What a cool flight. Yeah, I think if I had been a pilot in real life, I mean, I am a pilot in real life, but if I had been an airline pilot, I would have definitely loved long haul. Yeah, you know what? I'm in exactly the same position. My wife is out of town. So that's why I'm flying on a Saturday night. Exactly the same boat. But like, I'm one of those. My wife and I spend like 99% of our time together. So when she's not around, I'm like, for the first like hour or two, I'm like woohoo, and then after that, I'm like bored. You know. Alright, what do we got here? Let's take a look at our lovely chart. We'll go to 8,000. We'll bring it down. Yeah, bring it down to 3,000. Dial it down to 3,000. Alright, off we go now. Lack of time for long haul on the 777. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I would love to be able to do. The cool thing about this, the 777 is not only do they have let's throw out some drag here. Not only do they, look at that, it's almost 6,000 feet a minute descent rate. What the heck? Please don't overspeed. Jeez. One of the cool things about the 777 is it's very manageable on short flights. It's actually a really nice airplane to fly on short flights. Where other kind of long haul aircraft seem to be a bit more cumbersome, you know. Like I've done like hour-long flights in the 777, and they've been like perfectly kind of enjoyable. But I totally know what you mean. It's funny when I when I was in when I was doing private pilot training, my instructor was like, you know, takeoff and landing are the interesting parts, and everything else is boring. And he's right. Like, and at that time I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But it does. And it's weird because we think nothing of like sitting in a jet for like 6 or 7 hours on a longer flight, but like nobody really does that in like nobody would do like a 4.5 hour or like a 5 hour Piper Cherokee flight in the sim, you know. Whereas I would think that would be kind of fun. My longest GA flight in the sim, I flew from my home base, which is in New York. It was a day that the winds were just right, and I flew from New York to Anguilla in the TBM 930. That was a pretty fun flight. I did it I flew over top of Bermuda just in case like the predicted range wasn't there to get all the way to Anguilla. But that was like, if I remember correctly, like 1,600 miles. Watched the 2024 finally today. Switched to 2024 finally today. Just waiting for Sim Update 4 due to all the performance hype. Landing the Phoenix A321, Miami. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Percleus. It's so funny because it's been a relatively long beta, so I'm pretty used to it. But you're right. I mean, the performance is insane. I mean, I was only on Sim Update 3 for like 2 weeks because I went from one beta to the next. Look at this. Plane is wiggling today. Let's see here. Is there any ATC? Kind of hope there isn't. I don't have to embarrass myself. Nope. It'd be kind of embarrassing calling American Airlines call sign into here in an A320. They'd be like, what? What are you talking about, sir? It's quite a difference in landscape between the Southern Island and the Northern Island. That's wild. I'm always fascinated by flying over, like, I mean, not that there's really not one to use as an example, like flying over like villages in the sim and thinking about like the people that are down there, and they look up at the sky and they see a plane flying over, and you're just, you know, some plane that just goes, and they have no idea what you're doing, and you have no idea what they're doing, but you're kind of part of each other's lives for a brief period of time. I always find it fascinating. Northwest had an A320 hub in Japan. Northwest. It's weird, all the airlines that have like just completely disappeared. Alright. Let's see here. Get out of my way. My airplane is shaking. Why are you shaking? Alright, so let's see here. Transition level is flight level 15,000. Let's see. 1017. I know there's a way to do that without goofing up your descent, but I didn't do it correctly. Alright, so SNAX is the initial approach fix. No cam lurlu. Lefty. This should be kind of a pretty approach, I would think. So let's see here. Let's see here. VAP is 134, so you're about 700 foot a minute. Descent rate 310 is the no, I think alright, so 310 is decision height here. Let's see. Anything that can be done about night lighting? I don't think so. I haven't heard anything about that. I've heard nothing but really good. Everybody seems to love the night lighting in Sim Update 4, but I haven't seen anything about floating lights. Maybe check your hey Ryan, what's going on? Maybe clear your rolling cache if you haven't done that. That might reset some things. Let's go seatbelt signs on. Yeah, I think maybe the only thing I can think of would be rolling cache, and I would definitely reset that when you join the sim, or join Sim Update 4 Beta. Let's go landing lights on. Under 10,000 feet, which we're not quite yet, but we're getting there. More drag. Alright, fine. You want more drag? I'll give you more drag. Alright. Yeah, that could be too. Yeah, I suppose that could be true if it's just happening at one airport and not like in general. Hum. Alright. Alright, let's get the old brain engaged here if at all possible. Alright. I feel like kind of the scenery looks a little bit kind of flat, like it needs an update. I think New Zealand could use an update from Asobo. Doesn't this seem a little, I don't know, kind of doesn't look quite as realistic as a lot of the scenery that I'm used to. Alright. So airport's basically right off our nose here. Alright, what can we do to goof this up? Let's see. We'll think of something. Alright. Looking good up top. Suppose I should have looked at distances here, huh? Yeah, I definitely should have looked at distances. Yep. Oh yeah. I'm coming in hot. I'm coming in hot. Alright, speed checks. Go flaps 1. On the speed brakes. Oh, no, I'm going to auto brake medium here. Alright. Alright, speed checks flaps 2. Just barely. Alright. Auckland traffic, American 9037, left base for runway 23 left. Auckland. Sort of forgot about that part.
2,500.
Alright, we'll go gear down. Yeah, this is a real quick little It's a real quick little turn here. This is a really neat approach, actually. North Island is a lot flatter than the south. Alpine Fall, okay. Alright, speed checks. Flaps full. Gear down 3, green auto brake set. Spoilers are armed. Gosh, this looks beautiful. What a neat approach. $1,200 for 310. This would be a really fun one in the clouds and the muck. Speed checks. Stabilized. What a cool approach. I'm like fascinated by this. This is really neat. Alright. There we go. My airplane? There should always be a master warning when I'm flying. What a beautiful approach.
$100. $30. $20. Retard. $5.
No. Why are we climbing?
10.
5, 10. Oh, oh, that hurt. I've never heard a landing where it went 5, 10. Ay. You gotta have fun, right? Alright, so that was funny. I cannot land this airplane. I can't land Airbuses. I just can't. No matter how many times I try. Okay, we'll get off Alpha 8. With the, usually I have the opposite problem. I mean, butter, but 500 tons of butter. That's about it. That's about the truth right there. That's funny. I mean, honestly, you can only laugh, you know? I mean, do I want to get better landings than that? Yes, I do. Do I take it too seriously? No, I don't. I'm gonna taxi light on here. So where are we going here? Let's get clear of the runway. I don't think we can really make that. Well, yeah, we can make that turn. This is probably the turn off for incompetent pilots. And there is the ILS critical area. The traffic-wise, I'm on VATSIM, so Auckland traffic, American 9037, clear of 23 left, Auckland. And I've been so busy trying not to make an utter fool of myself that I have failed to make any radio calls etc., etc. But that was such a
It looks like my little muck up in the end worked out well for you, mate.
that was such a fun flight. Which I suppose is ultimately the we tested the landing gear up to 15. Alright, let's see here. Let's go find ourselves a place to park. I'm actually curious what that landing rate was. Oh boy. Let's see here, what do we got? International terminal. We're gonna matriculate over this way here, and we're gonna find out. This is kind of a nice little this is a freeware update to the airport, which I think is, you know, it's nothing special, but I think it's nicely done. Animaxima, I am on VATSIM, so it's only, you know, only other VATSIM traffic would be shown here. Why don't we just pull in here? Then we can see what my landing rate was, which is probably measured on the Richter scale. Gosh. So I am largely incompetent in this airplane when I fly it regularly. When I'm not flying it regularly, it's not pretty at all. Let's go down here. We'll go parking brake. Let's come over here. See if we can get some let's get some services here. Some chocks and cones. Let's see. Alright, let's get us some external power, and then we can come down here. Go there. Alright, flaps are up. Spoilers are retracted. Alright, so yeah, it was a typical me Airbus landing. Typical me Airbus landing. Auckland charts have to be updated with a new tower. New lower. Well, the thing is, they won't, because I didn't land in the touchdown zone, so I actually saved him on that one. I've literally never heard a landing. That might be the worst landing I've ever made. I've never heard the RA callouts go 5, 10, 30, 20, 10, 5, 10. Oh man. But what was weird is it didn't make a 50-foot call out, and that's what threw me. I mean, I need all the help I can get, for crying out loud. And it didn't give me a 50-foot call out, and I'm waiting for it. But the first call out I made was 30 feet. So let's find out what the landing rate is and see if my PIREP is going to be rejected. 397.46 feet per minute. That's not I will freely admit that's not the worst I've ever done. So let me see here. Where are we? We're gonna end the flight and send our PIREP. I just needed to get a flight in so they don't kick me out of American Virtual, which I succeeded in doing. Oh, whoops. Let's see. We'll file our PIREP here. Alright, so once again, I have brought shame on the airline and on my country for that landing. Well, yeah, I mean, you don't flare until 30, but I would like to know that I would like to know that I should prepare for flaring, you know what I mean? and they didn't give me any info there. I don't know why that happens to me all the time. It happened to me in the well, it's got to be in the Airbuses that it keeps happening. But anyway, if you have any suggestions, I'm considering a Turtle Beach Velocity 1 or Honeycomb Alpha and Bravo. I don't have any experience with the Velocity 1. The thing I like about the Honeycomb Bravo is that you can configure it for like so many different things, you know. I mean, I think and I fly a lot of different airplanes. I fly Boeings, I fly Airbus, I fly, you know, 152s, I fly everything, you know. So it's really, I like being able to change to Ryanair. I know. Actually, you know what's funny? My last name is Ryan. But I like the Bravo a lot. I like them a lot. I mean, I think if you flew one particular plane, like all the time, if you always flew a Boeing, you know, if you always flew Airbus, it'd be one thing or the other. But I mean, I like the old honeycomb setup that I have. Ain't out of the realm of reality. Yeah, I mean, you know, I did not have a good feeling the entire descent. I had a bad feeling, which, you know, like I said, there's a master caution when I'm flying for a reason. But anyway, what's funny is I switched to the 777 and I freaking grease them all the time. But so be it. It was a fun flight. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And classic jet, man. Have a good flight to would you say Dubai? I'm gonna watch you actually on Volanta. But I'm glad to get down here and fly somewhere different. That was a cool experience, and I certainly enjoyed it. I hope everybody had a good time. And yeah, I think that'll probably do it for tonight. I'm gonna go eat a little something and then go watch qualifying. So don't tell me what happened in quali. Alpha and Bravo were good. Plus you can put, yes, that is true too. That is true too. There was only one landing, I would say. Bach 4320. I believe there was only one landing. The second crash you heard was the nose wheel smacking onto the ground. If you guys ever watch the Maho Beach cam in St. Martin, and you watch the A330s, it was KLM and Air France, the A330s that come in. Those guys and gals grease those planes on every single time, and not only is like the touchdown perfect, but they hold the nose wheel off until it crests. There's like a little upslope in the runway, and then it plateaus, and they hold the nose wheel off until the plateau. It's so cool to watch, like absolutely amazing pilots. But anyway, you guys, thanks everybody for coming out. Hey, NZ Von Rocks, this is awesome, man. I was really glad to come down and enjoy your beautiful country, and hopefully it's not the last time. But I really appreciate the knowledge. That was a lot of fun checking out the different scenes along the way, and I'll remember that from The Last Samurai, which I have not seen yet. So really appreciate it. Just one landing, one generous landing. Yes, OMDW. Freight airport. Gotcha. Alright guys, everybody have a good night, and thanks for stopping in. I hope everybody has a great rest of your Saturday evening or morning, depending on where you are. Sunday morning, I guess it would be if it's morning. So take care everybody, we'll see you later.